Welcome into another episode of Cold Weather Bats. Brandon Justice, Michael Rubenstein, the usual crew in here for the off-season edition of Cold Weather Bats. It is December the 5th. It's Friday. Everyone's happy.
It's cold.
It's freezing cold. That was like verbatim what I was about to say. It is freezing cold.
Cold.
But not as cold as the Bats, I suppose. So a lot of things to cover today. Obviously, we will do what we've been doing and break down the next the next 10 in this episode of the top 100 and go through that. And that will be the second half of the episode. And then in the first half of today's show, we'll talk about this year's edition of the player draft. If you guys remember, I wouldn't even say if you're an OG, but if you were around for, I would say like season 2, season 3, season 4, then you remember the player draft being a really big yearly annual tradition that we had. It started as just myself, Brian, I think Greaser Jr. was involved, and then Ryan McKay was like our player drafter, and we did it over just StreamYard and just over video. And then we were able to do something really cool back in 2022 with the prep, where we live broadcasted it from out in the Prospect Center. And now we are doing it again this year at HVAC, and Ruby's going to give you guys the spiel on that, and so you can understand what's to come on February 28th, but extremely excited to bring it back. If you're unfamiliar with it, this is definitely an episode to lock into and hear about and learn about. If you've been in the top 100, we will definitely do our best to get you out there. It is an event tailored to the top players in the state, and we'll tell you all about it throughout today's show. But super excited to bring it back. All the credit to Ruby for doing so much work behind the scenes to make this happen and bring back something that honestly is our flagship. I don't think anybody looks forward to anything that we do more than the player draft. And no, we have not done it consistently every year. We did not do it this past year when we were kind of in a reconstructive stage, but having, roadmapped the next season in a big way this year, our first and foremost priority was how can we bring that back. So super excited that we're going to. We're doing it on a scale that's even bigger than what we did in 2022, much bigger than what we've done in years past with it. So we're just extremely thrilled about it. So Ruby, I'd love to ask you how you're doing, but I'm assuming you're doing great and you're just really amped to tell us all about this upcoming project we have on February 28th.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to sit still, more or less. So not only, do I do about 4 full-time jobs, it seems like. My wife and I always talk about how I'm never able to just sit still. So this is definitely one that I am quite excited about. There's been a lot of work that's gone into it that we're going to get into here shortly. We're obviously going to get into the top 100, the next 10 as well. There is even more that we have in the works that we're going to be announcing, I believe, in about a week or so, that is tied in with both of these. So there's your radio tease for those to keep coming back for the next episode. But definitely a lot to get into here, and excited to do so. So before we get into our next segment, we will pause here just for a word from one of our sponsors.
The store is set up. He's got the order, and he's off. It's a full court press. These brands are knocking it out of the park. This, my friends, is the speed we've come to expect from this team. Just look at the precision of that move. And it's out of here.
So right there, you just had two of our bigger, you can say our bigger sponsors that we're excited to work with on the players draft. You had G Brand and the Prep, two of the bigger companies that have been helping us out here. But for really those of you that, whether you've been listening for seasons or you are brand new and have no idea what the players draft is, it's going to definitely encompass some of the things that have been what made it fantastic in the past. And we're excited to bring in a lot of new ways with it too. So Brandon, do you want to do a quick just kind of recap of how it used to go in the years past, and we can discuss what it's looking like here for 2026?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really what we tried to do was emulate a draft that felt like a real one, like a professional draft, like how the MLB draft goes, the NFL draft, yada yada. Really focused on pageantry. Our mission with Cold Weather Bats was always to put a spotlight on the talent that is involved in the state of Michigan in baseball. Something that when we started Cold Weather Bats back in 2021, we thought we fell short of that as a state. I think the creation of Cold Weather Bats has created other things similar to us that have really amplified that. And at the end of the day, that's our goal. And this is really the Super Bowl of that goal. And it's our opportunity to put players on a pedestal a little bit, give them the spotlight. But really, it's just fun, right? Because usually when you're dealing with anything, it's always very competitive. It's always like performance metrics and showcases. And this is the one time where the players get to just kind of hang out, get to know each other, have some fun. Of course, it's competitive like anything else, but there's no actual baseball going on. It's just a really fun night to celebrate accomplishments and players being able to, have a spotlight on them for all the hard work that they've put in. And basically the fundamentals of it are, in the years past, we've had 4 captains. Typically, we did 2 adults, quote unquote, and then 2 players. So in 22, it was myself, Brian, and then we had Drew Hill and Ryan McKay were our 2 player drafters. And each guy drafted a certain number of players. In the past, we did, I think it was 18 per, and then you had to select a certain number of freshmen, a certain number of sophomores, juniors and seniors, and then you had some utility spots where you could fill in however you'd like. And the one that we did live, a lot of these players were there. I would say, I think we had like 60-ish players, and they were in a green room, quote unquote. And then when we drafted them, they came down from the green room to some music, and they were able to shake hands with the captain, posed with their G brand hats, took a picture, and then we posted on Cold Weather Bats, with the 5th selection of the CWB player draft, Team McKay drafts player, and really cool. And then they went to the hot corner, got interviewed by Joe Mooney, which was awesome, and just a really cool, comprehensive thing where once they were done, they were able to watch their team draft others. And I know that some of the players were getting in the ear of their captains, like, hey, maybe we should take this guy. And it was just really cool. The one thing we didn't do that we're going to try and do this year, which I know you'll touch on in a moment, is make something of it thereafter. In the past, it's really just been like a celebration. There's really no fundamental aspect to like scoring or anything, but that's something that we are going to add in this year. Of course, without taking away amateurism, there's no prizes or anything. It's just a for funsies thing.
Yep.
But all the same, that's where we'll kind of take what we've done foundationally and kind of expound on it a bit. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you just kind of encompassed exactly what we're trying to do is we're trying to provide a really unique and a different experience for high school baseball players in the state of Michigan. So, if you're sitting there listening saying, I can't really picture what this is, imagine the MLB draft, imagine the NFL draft, where you have your teams up front, you have your podium, and you have all the players and their families out in the masses. And we are literally going one by one. We are having our draft of how whatever coach feels is the most appropriate way to go about their drafting strategy. And really, we've had, the players are being evaluated, they're being selected, and they're being highlighted. So in a fully produced, live streamed draft show that, again, we're going to model after the MLB in draft format. So again, we're going to be featuring on-air hosts. We're going to have the prep streaming it. Chad Bush is extremely excited to be partnering with us on this. There will be the pick announcements. We'll have interviews once again with each player. So for the majority of these players, we hope that every single one of these players has the ability to have their name called for the MLB draft. But for those that aren't, or as they're growing in age, this is something that they're able to have a very unique experience to have that kind of a feeling going into the high school season. So we have this scheduled. We are very thrilled to be partnering with HVAC out in Milford, who's going to be hosting us on February 28th. Right before we get off the road and get started with high school baseball tryouts. So, it's like Brandon said, it's not a showcase. It's not just, an event that we're trying to get a baseball sense. It's really going to be a statewide event that we're going to be inviting players from the entire state to come on in, and it's going to blend the on-field talent with high quality production, storytelling, and coverage that's going to go across not only just YouTube but social media and so on. So our team and I know the prep we're very excited to deliver an engaging show that is going to be really one that is going to be amazing for the players, for the families, for the schools, the communities of all these players across the state. And it's something that we're looking forward to on an annual basis. So, we're going to have a scoring system that we're still ironing out. We wanted to get all of the back end stuff in place, which we now are just about complete with. But now we're going to start getting ready to gear up how it's going to look. But we're going to have all of our coaches are going to be drafting players. Players that are within the top 100 are going to be invited. There'll be invitations that are going to be sent out directly to those players in the coming weeks. So if you are a player in the top 100 already, or think you might be in the next 50, keep a lookout for that invitation to come through. We would love to have you and your family attending this event. It's going to be a really fantastic time that we're really excited for. So one other thing we want to include in this is an event like this can only be possible with the inclusion of sponsors. So we have a multitude of ways that brands, businesses, families, and individuals can get involved. We have all different types of levels from very low to our presenting level sponsor. We have conversations that are ongoing. I had a handful of communication that went on today with a handful of different companies and people. Would love to have you or your business be involved in this. We are looking to have quite a bit of players and families in attendance, as well as with a reach across the entire state. So this isn't your typical sponsor where we're just throwing your logo on a banner and saying, thanks for your donation. Your business is going to be highlighted. There's ways to have video ads. If you want, you can be interviewed as well live at the draft. There is a multitude of ways, really a million different ways that companies can be involved. So if this is something that you or your business might have any interest in, reach out to myself or Brandon. You can get our information off of any of our socials or our website, coldweatherbats.com, that you see in the bottom right corner. But really, it's really going to be a fantastic event for everyone. This is just something that we're so excited for and can't wait to get ready for here. Brandon, anything else you want to add in with any of that?
No, just super excited. I think if you're a player and you're unfamiliar with this and you're hearing it for the first time, it'll blow your mind at how awesome this event is going to be this year, but also in years past. If you're someone who is just a fan of Cold Weather Bats and maybe you're a new fan and you haven't heard of this, I mean, this is, again, like I'll say it, it's our Super Bowl. It's the coolest thing we do when we do it right. And we're certainly doing it more right this year than we ever have before. And the last thing I'll point out is if you are someone who's been asking for this over the years, happy you've stuck around, happy we're able to deliver it. It's going to be really, really cool. We're not taking any shortcuts with this. Ruby's done a very comprehensive job at preparing this and making sure that the event's going to roll out really well. And I'm trying to make sure that the content of it all is going to be at not just at par, but we're trying to shoot for eagle here and make things as good as we could possibly make it. And I think we're going to hit it out of the park. And I think the players allow us to do that. It's a very talented state. That's why the top 100 has been so difficult to build, because there's so many good players. And, I've said it a million times on the show, like, it's very interchangeable. Player 90 could be as good as player 20. It's one of those things. And so the draft is exciting. The people who are going to be involved as drafters are exciting, and seeing how they evaluate talent will be cool. And then, we're taking it very seriously. There's a lot of preparation into the process of the draft, and all the drafters are being asked to take this very seriously and have a sense of preparation before we do it.
So that already, I'm
exactly.
I'm ready.
So
Gotta
it's it's one of those things where, we're not just going to draft off the rankings. Everyone's drafting independently on their own evals and, getting with other coaches around the area and figuring out what they think about the player. And, this is going to be a blast. So the last thing I'll say about it is just whatever you think it's going to be, I promise you it'll be even better.
All right, and that's really a perfect way to segue us right into the top 100 segment here, the top 100 update of the show. We're not going to cover just 5, we're going to cover 10 because, we had the Thanksgiving holiday, some other things with all of our lives. We had to take an extra week off. So we're going to cover 10 today right after we hear from another one of our ads and one of our sponsors. Baseball is 90% mental, and now with Pison, you can finally train that part of your game. Pison measures reaction time, decision making, focus, and even tracks recovery and sleep to give you the mental edge every player needs. We're excited to welcome Pison to the Cold Weather Bats family. As part of this partnership, Cold Weather Bats listeners get 10% off when using promo code CWB10 when they order at pison.com/coldweatherbats. Don't just train your body, train your mind. Unlock your potential with Pison today.
Alrighty, now it's time to talk CWB Top 100, and we are going through players number 75 to 66 today. We'll start off, and again, per usual, we'll spend a couple minutes on each player and make our way down the list. We're starting out in Leslie High School. Leslie's really kind of started to make a name for itself. We don't want to spoil the list, so there's other players who are on it. But we'll start with number 75 out of Leslie. It's Easton Hawkins, class of 2028, so a younger right-handed pitcher, kid who I think could legitimately blow up real fast this spring. He's a big, sturdy 6'1", 200, real strength already built in, over-the-top arm slot, heavy downhill fastball. As a freshman, he was already living in the mid-80s, touched 86, but really was like an 83 to 85 arm. But that was really before any real physical jump, and we're starting to see that here this winter. Frame, the arm action, present strength, it's really projectable as a sophomore that you think could be into the upper 80s by springtime, maybe even more by the time the weather turns. And the separator for him is just the feel. He's got a curveball that's really long and late, true vertical shape, 15+ mile an hour gap off his heater, which is really hard to come by, at least from a consistency standpoint. He makes it a really tough look for hitters. The axis changes a ton, so it's hard for any hitter to stay on balance against him. He'll also flip in a changeup. It's got a lot of dead-ended action, freezes hitters when he keeps it tunneled. Just one of those kids, man. For a young arm, the entire mix comes out complete and pretty polished. Huge fan. Think he's going to be a really, really good player. Moving on, number 74 out of Dow High School, one of those schools that's very consistently competitive. That's Evan King. He's a long, lean, 6'2", 200-pound lefty who pitches with a lot of real feel and a natural, repeatable delivery. Lived in the low to mid 8s this past spring, piled up a ton of swing and miss with a 3-pitch mix that he really knows how to use. Spins the fastball at about a 2140 with a lot of late life. The curveball is into the 2100s up to 2200 with a lot of late bite, kind of falls off the table and tunnels really well off the heater. Everything moves. He also mixes in a changeup with confidence too. Really what stands out most about King is his pitchability. He went to a showcase earlier this year, called his own game, kept hitters off balance for an entire outing just by reading swings and sequencing. With the frame, his movement patterns, the feel he has for his spin, projects as another high 80s arm, similar to Hawkins by his senior year, and one of the more under-discussed 2028 lefties in the state. Actually, let me double check because I hate to be wrong on this, but I had my notes messed up, so I don't care to do this mid-show. I just want to make sure Evan King's grade is correct here. Evan King is 2028, yeah. So similar to Hawkins, same class, two really, really good arms. You got anything on King?
No, just with both of these two, it's again another testament to the state. You have two kids here that are 2028 that are both mid to upper 80s. Like, you don't typically see that, and to see that, and we have these down in 75 and 74 respectively, again, just goes to show you the quality that we're going to see throughout this entirety of this list.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get away from pitchers, and those two guys are going to play two ways for their high school, so they're going to make impacts. But really, where they are going to be stars, I think, is on the mound. Next up, number 73. I'm definitely going to butcher this last name, and for that I apologize, but it's Ryan Willis. I'm going to go with Willis, but W-I-L. I am right. Awesome. Bloomfield Hills. So shout out to Coach Fettis. He's committed to Davidson. I was a catcher, still coach catchers. So obviously, I tried my best to take these evals seriously. In a perfect world, catchers are ranked way higher just by definition because it's the hardest position to play in sports. And we don't put enough emphasis on that at all. I don't even think I do the best job of emphasizing it within my own program. It's very hard to do when you're dealing with a lot of different positions at once, and the MHSAA kind of strickens you a little bit. So, but Willis is one of the best catchers in the state, very polished, athletic catcher, real feel for the position, 80-plus mile-an-hour arm from home to second, very smooth catch and throw actions, sets up well, controls the run game, very steady glove, very natural movements, manages the staff the way you want a college-bound catcher to. Had to manage a really, really good pitching staff last year and did it well. Got to see him live when we played against him last spring. Was really impressed. 6'2", 185, so there's a lot of strength in the frame and present power at the plate. Slots the hands low, stays connected through his lower half, produces a lot of easy jump off the barrel. Led a strong D1 Bloomfield Hills lineup in average, on-base percentage, and stolen bases. So 18 stolen bases last year for him. And I think he might have had more if a couple games were missing in max preps. But a lot of rare production for a catcher for him at the plate and on the bases. He brings a defensive first reliability, but with emerging offensive impact that I think could be the hidden gem he brings to the table this spring. I think Davidson's getting a real high IQ, fast improving backstop who should translate quickly thanks to a pretty college-ready body. He is a senior this year at Bloomfield Hills. Next up, on to number 72. You've definitely heard this name in Michigan high school baseball. Number 72 is Josh Leonard out of Sterling Heights Stevenson. He is a sophomore, older sophomore, but a big physical frame, a little bit smaller height-wise, 5'8", but he's 185 pounds and a lot of just brute on the kid. He plays the game really loud. Lower half is truly like 99th percentile strength. Shows up in his power potential, but also in the way that he defends, moves well for his size, has a strong glove. Arm has juice, gets erratic at times, but even still projects as one of the better defensive infielders in his class. Where he really shines, though, and what makes him make this list is offensively. His power from the left side it's going to jump this spring, but he's already had it. I mean, he had some no-doubters last year that he hit, and he could end up as one of the state's best hitters like this year, regardless of class. Already hit over 300 in a very competitive MAC conference as a sophomore. Got on base over – actually, I apologize, as a freshman. Got on base over 50% of the time, walked more than he struck out. Exactly the kind of offensive profile good programs build around. Anytime you see somebody who is a freshman who's striking out less than he's walking, you're really encouraged by that. It's a very mature approach. With his body and the strength trends and the track record he has, the family lineage, he checks the boxes for a breakout as one of the more complete high-floor 2028s in his class. Will also eat up plenty of innings as a mid-eights arm for Stevenson this spring. Awesome. Let's go to number 71. We go to Adrian Madison, smaller school here in Southeast Michigan, a little bit between Downriver and Toledo, somewhere in the middle there, also close to Ann Arbor. Committed to Saginaw Valley State. Brian Dopp is the guy, and he was one of the Team Michigan players this past spring. Put up video game numbers for D3 Madison in 25. He had a 550 average with 33 hits, 13 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs, 24 RBIs from the leadoff spot, 22 steals, 49 runs scored, and that was in his first 18 games. So he was a ridiculous producer.
That'll do.
Yeah, and no, like the schedule is not awesome. They're playing teams that he should, if he's going to go play Division II baseball, he should be having success. But the consistency and just the gaudiness of the numbers is really hard to ignore. The tools are what make the production real. If he played at a bigger school, his name would already be everywhere. He's 5'11", he's strong, compact body, true athlete with elite foot speed. He's a 6'4" recorded runner based on PBR's latest evaluations over the summer. 91-mile-an-hour arm strength from the outfield. Bat speed is super real, posting 100-plus EVs multiple times this year. both at showcases, at tournaments where it's recorded. And the swing has enough intent to drive the gaps and leave the yard. He's got some legitimate versatility too. He's played basically every position in high school. And you get a guy whose value scales quickly at the next level when you consider all those things. At SVSU, he's profiles mostly cleanly as an outfielder with impact speed and sneaky power, but there's a real D2 gem upside here if the hit tool continues to hold up against better pitching. We'll see how it translates. That's the one question, but as far as I can tell, he's going to be a really good producer for the Cards.
Yeah, definitely someone that you could see being a player that's going to play early over at Saginaw. And as long as going from seeing the pitching he's seeing in high school and in summer over to Saginaw, I see no reason why he's not going to be someone that's out there playing quite early up there in Saginaw.
All right, on to number 70. We got Logan Scheidt, just recently committed to Michigan, University of Michigan. And he's a compact, athletic catcher, 5'11", 180. He's a junior. He's got a strong lower half, works real efficiently behind the dish, and fuels a lot of real bat speed. Willis might be a better player right now, but Scheidt moves exceptionally well for the position, posts a 6'9", 160, shows a lot of quick, agile actions that help him receive, block, and control the tempo of the game. Arm plays at 80 miles an hour to second with a fast release, giving him one of the better run game deterrents in the class. Offensively, hits with a quiet load, fast on-plane hands, create a lot of consistent bat-to-ball, gap-to-gap contact. 95-plus EVs regularly and 75 mile-an-hour hand speed. Clear power jump coming as he matures based on those numbers that he posted this fall. His athleticism, receiving skill, and present offensive markers make him one of the most complete young catchers in Michigan's 27 class. And hardest decision I've had to make so far this offseason with this list is Scheidt or Willis in their spots. Both really, really talented players. Just banking on Scheidt's physicality to jump real big this spring. I think Michigan coming in and snagging him when they did kind of says a lot about what they expect him to do this upcoming spring. I understand we've been somewhat critical of that staff's evals at times, but I do think that they are in a good spot with this one. So next up, we've got number 69, Daniel Hampton out of Howell. Huge fan of Hampton. Think he's easily one of the more overlooked talents in the state, just from like a pure production standpoint. Very physical, 6'2", 215 athlete, lean strength, college-ready frame, jumps out immediately to the eyes, produces some of the biggest raw numbers in the class, regularly posting 100-plus EVs, has been up to 105 with a wild 77.5 mile-an-hour swing speed and a 22.5 mile-an-hour hand speed, all while maintaining a controlled adjustable swing built off a repeatable stutter step load. I think anytime you see kids with those wild numbers, you're just wondering how consistent the swing is, how erratic it might be, how much they're opening up, pulling off, etc. You don't see a lot of that. I think despite how powerful he is, he's actually under a lot of control. Bat works on playing with ease. Barrel shows up often, makes him one of the more dangerous power bats in the class for 2026. Not to mention 6'7" runner with enough speed to swipe bags in the MHSAA and cover real ground in the outfield. Defensively, 85 mile-an-hour arm gives him the versatility to play third base, second base, or the corner outfield spots. He does play all four of those. The action suggests to me he may settle best into a corner role long-term, meaning in college, but he'll probably play a little bit of everywhere for Howell. Really high-end strength, elite bat speed, defensive versatility, pure athleticism. I think he's a real big next-level impact bat heading into his senior year. Northwood, by the way, shout out to the Timbies and Ruby, who is an alum.
This is one, too, that I know talking with some of the other guys already there as players that they're very excited that's coming in, that they were able to snag for to bring into the roster this upcoming class. So one that is going to have a big impact when he gets up to Midland.
Yeah, one of those guys who a few years ago probably ends up at a Division I, but with Wardle and how things are going with that, D2 schools are able to kind of come in and swipe up a guy that they thought probably would be not attainable for their division, but they're able to go get him because of the nature of how recruiting has changed so much over these last few years. So next up on our list, number 68, we got a Bowling Green State commit, another catcher, Jaden Saavedra out of South Lyon East. He was also on Team Michigan. I can't say enough about the physicality here and the just the gamership. I mean, he plays the game extremely hard. But like the body, thick, ultra physical. He's a little small at 5'9", but he's 190. College-ready lower half is an understatement. Some of the strongest legs you'll find in the class. You can see it with your eyes. You don't need to, weigh it in or anything. It is visible. Built like he could catch a doubleheader and play fullback on a whim. Like post EVs in the 90s with advanced bat to ball skills, stays gap to gap with a relaxed look that turns into a connected, powerful swing. Lower half is a real weapon at the plate, gives him a lot of sneaky thump and consistency. Probably I would imagine the best hitter on South Line East from what I know about the roster. A 7 flat runner, so he plays fast and aggressive. He's not super fast by the clock. I think he's pretty above average for a catcher with the foot speed, but when you see him play the game, the game speed's much better in my opinion, and he's always looking to take an extra base. Arm works well. I mean, he's an 80+ mile an hour home to second guy and into the mid 80s across the diamond. So a lot of present arm talent that should continue to develop. I think we'll see some vast improvements there when he hits spring. Defensively, moves exceptionally well with those legs, blocks at a high level. I mean, one of the better blockers I've been able to watch, and pairs that with a quick release of a catch and throw ability. And he's one of the more physical catchers in this class with tools that translate cleanly to the college level. He will go play in the MAC. I don't know how long it'll take him to make an impact there. Catcher's really hard to crack. There's only one or two that will really play outside of those early non-conference games. So he might have to wait a couple of years before it's his turn, but he'll certainly be able to show up in the weight room and look like an upperclassman in the weight room right away. And that always, pops off the sheet to coaches. So I could see Saavedra making his way into the lineup by a sophomore, junior season. But this year for South Line East, he's expected to really carry the load for them and hopefully give them some opportunities to win some games. Next up, we've got number 67 out of Clarkston, Chris York, very recently committed to Western Michigan. And the Broncos have been kind of cleaning up a little bit on these guys that are a little overlooked, but then you go watch them and you're like, damn, this kid can play. And he's one of them, 6'2", 215, very, very physical. And you keep hearing me say that. So if you've caught on to it by now, not only do I value the physicality of a player, but clearly if these guys are all committed, so do college coaches. So if you're a player listening and wondering, how do I get to their level? Be physical, get in the weight room, look the part, show up and blend in physically. Your play and your performance, that's, a different conversation, but you can really control the physical side of things. And that's an easy way to stand out to these college coaches. And it's an easy way to show not only that you work hard and you have a hard work ethic, but also that you're projectable and that your physicality is going to translate at the next level. The only guys who really get away with that not being physical, it would be someone who's maybe an ultra fast, ultra defensive premium position, like a shortstop, maybe a catcher, maybe a center fielder. Outside of that, you really need to look the part unless you're a pitcher. If you're a pitcher, you can be as long and lanky as you want. As long as you can throw strikes and throw hard and there's some projectability there, they'll figure it out. Reminds me a lot of Micah Ottenbright when he was at Trenton, but got drafted by the Phillies and he had to start eating a ton. We saw him after like the first year. I remember he was away with the Phillies and came back with like a different person. So you keep hearing physical, it's for a reason. So best advice, get physical. York is compact right-hander with a strong lower half, drives the operation, and should support future velocity gains without compromising his health. You have a lot of these guys who are really high-effort throwers, and sometimes you're wondering, well, that's awesome, but at some point that shoulder is going to give. Really like how York's very repeatable, and all of his, I think, philo comes from natural power and natural physicality, and that's why I think we won't see those problems with him because he's an 87 and 90 arm with a lot of late arm side life and sneaky carry that plays well in the zone where he lives often. He is a strike thrower. Offers 3 distinct secondaries with real feel: a long top-to-bottom curveball, a lot of true velo separation off the heater with that. Another late breaking slider that changes the axis of which breaker the hitter's seeing. Is it going to break horizontally? Is it going to break vertically? He shoots off the plane last second with that slider and then comes in with a real interesting hard throwing 82, 84 mile an hour changeup. It's an elite mix, truly, and it keeps hitters guessing. Anybody who can effectively throw a changeup into the mid-8s is going to be really good because not only is it going to be slower, but it's also going to move a bit. And so you're dealing with the fastball that has late life going this way. And if you're watching, it's going towards a right-hander. And then you're dealing with a curveball that's long and over and the biggest speed disparity. And then you're dealing with a slider that's going to break across, and it's a little bit less of a speed disparity. And then you have a changeup, which is the hardest that he throws off the fastball, and it's going to dive. So you're dealing with 4 different movements, 4 different speeds, and it's all over the map. Delivery is really easy, repeatable, a lot of sustainable effort, shows advanced understanding of how to use the lower half, short, loose arm action paired with calm, deliberate tempo, gives everything a controlled, polished look. widely regarded by all of his peers as a very fierce competitor, which I love. So the combination of pitchability, physicality, and mound presence makes him one of the more complete arms in the class. I've said this before. I will say it again for York. He could easily end up a top 30 guy when it's all said and done. Just had a little bit of an under-the-radar career to this point. But York is one of the guys I will immediately be paying attention to his starts. And I do think that Western found a little, I wouldn't say diamond in the rough. Clarkson's a big school, but they definitely found a gem in York. And then lastly, as I catch my breath, we've got number 66, another Western Michigan commit, Mitch Beyer out of Vicksburg. Another kind of late bloomer in a way. He is a senior, long, lean, 5'11", 165-pound athlete, ton of quick twitch movements, natural fluid baseball actions, a very rare left-handed hitting, right-handed thrower that is valuable. Usually you don't want that. Usually you want the opposite. But as a position player, it's actually quite valuable for him because he's a really smooth middle infielder that hits from the left side. So it's a little bit of a premium. He's a left-handed. The left-handed swing is smooth, a lot of easy juice, drives the ball to all fields. Something I look for is if a kid's hitting the ball hard, how hard is he working to hit the ball hard? How much effort is there in that swing? That's when you start getting into, is he going to pull off? Is it going to be way too much this way and way too much that way? Beyer's swing is easy and it's smooth. It drives it to all fields, pull side power, but effortless opposite field carry as well. Handles all pitch types and is the type of hitter you trust in any count, in any matchup. Above average runner, regularly turns singles into extra bases and piled up multiple triples last season. He's also showed some growing in-game power. I think this is what made Western kind of jump the gun, as he's starting to show that power profile is legitimate. He had multiple home runs, and he's just now scratching the surface of what should be at least a 5+ homer profile in 2026, which, if you keep track of how Michigan baseball works, if you're hitting more than 5-6 homers, you're having a pretty good year. Defensively moves up the middle pretty clean with good action, steady range, projects as a very reliable shortstop second baseman at the college level who brings real left-handed value to the top of the lineup. Definitely a top of the order guy that you can trust. Really think he's going to be a great player for Western when it's all said and done. Might take him a couple of years physically to get to where they want him to be. Interested to see how the bat speed kind of translates, but as of now, he should have a phenomenal year for Vicksburg, a smaller school. But really love the profile of Beyer. Think he's, again, we're still in the range of these kids being mostly overlooked, really good players. When we get in that 25, it'll be a little bit different. But that wraps it up for this week's list. Now, it's a lot of word vomit from me. So, Ruby, I'll let you recap it a bit.
Yeah, no, we got players really of all the classes. Take a deep breath first off. That was fantastic.
Thanks.
We have players from all the different classes, a lot of players that are being expected to be leaders at their schools, ones that are, whether they're D1 or D2 commits, looking to get ready to go into college. They're getting ready for that last year of high school baseball. They are ones that are, to take it all back to the beginning, going to be looked to be invited to our player draft here in February. Really, it is just, this list, I every time that we make an update to it, I sometimes look at it and say, how is this player ranked at X spot? And there's just so much talent, as we continuously say. And really, as we get into it more and more, there's going to be a lot of room for discussion, as how this is kind of transpired. Maybe there's players as we go through the season, we're like, yeah, that player actually, we were right or we were wrong, that this one isn't as good. And really, it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun here. So to take it back to players draft, it's definitely something that we are excited to really get up and get moving here for, as we are now into December. As we hit at the top, there are a lot of families probably starting to look towards the holidays, what they can get for their children. If you are a high schooler looking to say, what do I want for Christmas? Well, we have a couple different things that we'd like to recommend. First off, we have our partnership with Pison that we've discussed ad nauseum here. Really, if you're looking to take the next step with your mental and physical game, you need one of these flat out. Had a call with them yesterday. They have a new release to really help with your cognitive curve. They explained it to me. I can't really re-explain it because it is really impressive what it's able to do. It's able to help really get you in a mental spot ready to compete, whether it's on the baseball field, in the classroom, at home, whatever it might be. At some point, we might look to have someone from Lansing Community College. They had a big Pison did a big thing with them in terms of what they did at LCC, and real quickly, just they were able to see with their testing within their playlist for on-field BP, if you had your playlist between 40 and 60 beats per minute, that was the perfect range to have yourself mentally ready to play baseball. So for those of you high school coaches out there, take that for what you will, put that into your playlist, find those types of songs. That is just one bit of advice there. But obviously we have Pison, we have the JustBats. If you're looking for a new bat, a new glove, you can find the URL, the links on all of our socials on our website. You can get those Smackin Sunflower Seeds with a discount on our website as well. And we have a handful of others that are in the works. So again, if you are a player, a business, anyone looking for more information on the player draft, head on over to our website. Reach out to one of us, reach out to our Instagram, anything that you can do to get in touch with us to learn more about it. Want to make sure that everyone that wants to be involved in this can be involved in this. It's going to be a fantastic environment, a fantastic experience. We will be joining you once again next week for our next episode, where we are going to break down the next 5 of our top 100. And with that, Brandon, anything else you want to add in there?
No, super excited. I know a lot of people reach out to me privately about the top 100, and it's not easy. Nobody could do this. I hate to sound arrogant, but nobody could do this. It's a difficult thing to do. Probably a few people out there who are capable, but it is not easy. And no, it is not perfect, but it is the absolute best job we can do, and we're happy everyone's supporting it. But if you're upset about a ranking, I don't have anything for you other than if there's anything you want to tell me about a player, I'm obviously open ears to that. I don't know what I don't know. I think anyone who knows me knows that I am very cognizant of that and usually open to all feedback. But as we continue rolling on, just a reminder, this list has only to do with what I know. So appreciate everyone for keeping up. Can't wait to talk about it more next week. And keep in mind that this runs until the season starts. And we are at a point now where we are getting into the top 50 and things get A, more difficult, but B, you start talking about kids that are going to play Power 4 baseball here pretty soon. And you're starting to see, this is where I think it's going to get interesting, because I think people are going to enjoy hearing which Power 4 guys are like top 10 versus what Power 4 guys are still kind of in that 50 to 40 range, because you will see both of those things. So exciting times.
All right. Without further ado, hopefully everyone stays warm this week. I know we got a little warm up coming next week, but until then, we will talk to you all next time.